how scary it is to be liked by this girl. She had such a strong obsession with Fudo that she developed deep resentment. Not only did she want to kill him, but anyone even remotely close to Fudo was beaten to the brink of death. The strongest students in the academy were like dolls in her hands. Even when they teamed up to fight her, she only needed one move to severely injure both. Finally, the most powerful Tsukuyo stepped up. Using her signature move, she initially thought she could defeat Karukiru, but Karukiru's automatic counterattack nullified her attack. Even with all her strength, Tsukuyo was wounded. Just as they were preparing for another round of battle, Fudo arrived just in time, shielding Tsukuyo behind him. Karukiru, seeing Fudo's move, became furious, wanting to vent her frustrations, but Fudo didn't wait for Karukiru to finish venting. He threw a punch right at Karukiru's face. However, Karukiru's abilities were so extraordinary that even though she got hurt, Fudo also took damage. Then, she knocked Fudo down, but to her surprise, Fudo stood up again. It turned out he had placed a book in his abdomen, which absorbed the fatal blow. As the battle reached a tense moment, Tsukuyo started to imagine things. She realized she wasn't in any romantic relationship with Fudo, but Fudo seemed to be protecting her. Tsukuyo was a shy, introverted girl. If Fudo ever wanted, she would happily date him. Seeing how close the two of them were, Karukiru's rage skyrocketed. Then, Fudo assumed a fighting stance, running forward with all his might. Karukiru reacted by waving her hand to release a skill, and Fudo's attack was blocked. Fudo's punch was dodged by Karukiru as well. Since his movements weren't perfected, Karukiru easily saw through them. At that moment, a falling leaf landed at Karukiru's feet. She couldn't help but glance at it, and in that instant, Fudo tried to sneak attack Karukiru, but she already anticipated his intentions. Once again, Fudo was knocked down. Karukiru approached him, ready to finish the fight, but Fudo quickly evaded the attack. When he tried to counterattack again, his coat covered his head, blinding him for a moment. Panicked, Fudo couldn't see his surroundings. Just then, Tsukuyo rescued him. It turned out Tsukuyo could use teleportation. In a crisis, she saved Fudo. Tsukuyo complained that Fudo was all talk, but his attacks were too easy to predict. Fudo felt helpless, knowing his moves were transparent to Tsukuyo. He also realized he wasn't a match for Karukiru. Tsukuyo suggested a plan, and Fudo hesitated. He wasn't good at playing the emotional card. Tsukuyo insisted that winning Karukiru's heart was the best approach. Then, Fudo took off his tie, declaring that it would be either her or him. Fudo's words struck Karukiru's heart, but then his actions nearly threw her off. As the final battle neared, Fudo threw open his shirt and disappeared from his original spot. Then, he revealed his abs and lunged at Karukiru. Now, his movements had reached their peak. Karukiru, unable to react in time, was caught off guard, but luckily, her extensive battle experience helped her calm down, and she managed to wound Fudo. However, Fudo's skill had already activated. His hand landed precisely on Karukiru's chest, striking her with the same move twice, but Karukiru stood up again. At that point, Fudo was exhausted. Karukiru wanted to finish him off, but she couldn't bring herself to do it. As tears fell from her eyes, the sky began to rain. The scene reminded them both of past moments. Then Fudo unleashed all his strength, landing a punch on Karukiru's face. Immediately after, Karukiru counterattacked. The two of them continued to fight in the rain. To Tsukuyo, it looked like they were just playing around, but Karukiru actually enjoyed the process. Fudo's gaze was entirely focused on her. Karukiru grew more enthusiastic, and the intensity of her strikes increased. Eventually, Fudo couldn't hold up any longer. After their battle, both seemed to have exhaled a long-held breath. Then, Karukiru grabbed Fudo, disabling his passive skill.